Hey, movie lovers, welcome back to Pop Movie Recap. If you want more movie recaps and the latest updates, stay tuned by subscribing to Pop Movie Recap. Now, let's jump right into the action. Meet Bernard, a determined individual with aspirations far beyond his humble beginnings as a shoe-shining boy. In the racially oppressive Texas of 1939, Bernard strategically sets up his shoe-shining stall in front of the bank, catering to affluent white customers. However, his focus extends beyond the modest earnings from shining shoes. He deliberately works slowly to eavesdrop on the financial secrets exchanged among the white clientele. With meticulous detail, the young Bernard records these valuable insights in a notebook. His true ambition is not confined to shoe shining. From a tender age, he harbors a dream of becoming a banker, despite his father's somber acknowledgment that such aspirations seem impossible in the face of severe discrimination. Against all odds and fueled by unwavering determination, 15 years later, the grown-up Bernard, Eunice and children, relocates to Los Angeles. Here, the racial discrimination is less severe than in his hometown, motivating Bernard to pursue his dreams more openly. The family initially finds themselves living in a cramped utility room at a relative's place. Bernard pledges to Eunice that they will soon move to better circumstances. Initiating his journey in Los Angeles, he embarks on a new career as a real estate agent, determined to build a brighter future for his family. Embarking on his quest to reshape the real estate landscape in Los Angeles, Bernard diligently searches for available houses throughout the city. His keen observation reveals a stark contrast. The black community is densely populated, while the white community boasts numerous vacant houses. Recognizing a lucrative opportunity, he perceives a gap in the market for real estate speculation and rentals. Amidst his exploration, Bernard spots a neglected apartment owned by a white individual. He approaches the owner with a bold proposition, purchasing the property for $30,000 up front, and an additional $5,000 upon successfully renting out all the rooms. While the owner acknowledges the innovative idea, he hesitates, wary of the perceived risk. Understanding the owner's concerns, Bernard gracefully accepts the situation. However, before leaving, he notices a calendar in the owner's possession, a gift from a local bank manager. In a stroke of insight, Bernard bids farewell to the owner and heads directly to the bank, determined to explore alternative avenues. Unfortunately, he encounters resistance from the manager's secretary, who discriminates against him due to his race, refusing to facilitate an introduction. Bernard patiently waits for hours by the bank's entrance. Seizing an opportune moment, he intercepts the bank manager upon his exit. In his pursuit of realizing his real estate ambitions, Bernard faces another hurdle when the bank manager dismisses his loan request. Bernard receives an unexpected call that night from the property owner, questioning if he used the owner's name to secure a loan. Faced with no other option, Bernard humbly apologizes. To his surprise, the owner, rather than condemning him, admires his unwavering determination. Recognizing Bernard's resilience, the owner decides to personally guarantee the loan, enabling Bernard to secure his first-ever loan from the bank and purchase the property. As Bernard begins renovations on the acquired building, an encounter with an elderly white lady adds a new layer of challenge. The woman, returning from shopping, confronts him at the door, demanding an explanation for his presence. Calmly, Bernard informs her that he is renovating the apartment building. Unconvinced, the old lady, with a sharp tone, warns him to be careful, insinuating doubt about his capabilities, stating, "Don't worry, this is my building, and I will definitely take good care of it." In no time, the police arrive, questioning Bernard about the old lady's complaint. They ask if he posed as the owner, contradicting her claims. When the police arrived in response to the old lady's complaint, he confidently presented the real estate certificate, quickly dispelling any doubts about his ownership. The police, recognizing the legitimacy of his claim, left without further ado. Returning to the apartment building that night, Bernard encountered the old lady once again, who, unaware of his ownership, demanded he leave, insisting it wasn't the time for renovations. With calm assurance, Bernard revealed, "I am not a renovation worker. I'm the owner." The revelation left the old lady speechless. In the following days, frustrated by the changing demographic of the building, she moved out. Bernard swiftly rented out the vacated unit to a black lady, confirming the vast potential he had foreseen. As the building quickly filled with tenants, Bernard fulfilled his financial commitment to the former owner. Impressed by Bernard's shrewd business acumen, the former owner extended an offer to collaborate.
They decided to embark on a joint venture, selecting houses, calculating income potential, and negotiating transactions together.
The partnership operated discreetly, ensuring that their business dealings with white individuals remained inconspicuous, allowing them to share the revenue seamlessly. The collaboration proved immensely successful, leading to substantial profits. With his newfound prosperity, Bernard transitioned from an apartment block to a luxurious mansion, providing a joyful and prosperous life for his beloved family. Bernard's wisdom lies in his strategic approach to discrimination.
Rather than retaliating and falling into the trap of others' game rules, he adheres to his own principles. His focus is on playing by rational economic guidelines, aiming for maximum profit as his ultimate goal.
However, life's journey is unpredictable and challenges can emerge unexpectedly.
Tragically, Bernard's business partner, the former owner, passes away suddenly, leaving his equity to his discriminatory wife. This woman, harboring strong prejudices against black individuals, refuses to cooperate with Bernard.
Disdainfully, she proposes buying his shares at an unfairly low price, and threatens legal action if he refuses. Given the prevailing racial biases of the era, Bernard faces an uphill battle in court. Knowing the odds are stacked against him, he decides to challenge the injustice. To strengthen his case, he searches for a witness to testify about his cooperative relationship with the deceased owner. Initially considering the bank manager, Bernard discovers that the manager has already aligned with the widow, and is avoiding any association with him. Disheartened but not defeated, Bernard stands in the bank, surveying the neat and tidy building that symbolizes stability and order. Determined to overcome the challenges ahead, he contemplates alternative strategies to secure justice and uphold his rightful claim in the face of discrimination. Amidst the pervasive fangs of systematic discrimination, Bernard often faces scorn upon entering banks solely due to the color of his skin. The building housing 4 banks, each closing its doors to him, becomes the focal point of his defiance. In a stroke of genius, Bernard decides to purchase the entire building. Determined to turn the tables, he enlists the help of Joe, another black real estate developer in Los Angeles, to share his visionary plan. Initially skeptical due to the exorbitant land prices and the unprecedented nature of a black person buying land in downtown LA, Joe gradually realizes that Bernard is no mere dreamer. He is a thoughtful and rational strategist. Bernard's motive becomes clear. Ownership of the building would ensure the banks inside serve him without discrimination. They would hesitate to deny him a loan, and by doing so, disclose vital real estate trends, facilitating a smoother operation of Bernard's real estate business. The prospect of establishing dominance in the realm of white bankers on their own turf appeals to Joe's entrepreneurial spirit, motivating him to join forces with Bernard in this groundbreaking endeavor. Despite their strides in acquiring the bank building, Bernard and Joe encounter a new challenge. They cannot directly negotiate transactions with white individuals. To bridge this gap, they devise a plan involving Matt, a white individual who has been assisting Bernard with renovations.
Recognizing Matt's honesty and ambition, though slightly inexperienced, Bernard and Joe embark on an extensive training program for him.
They cover golf, high-class manners, mathematical thinking, and real estate. Remarkably, Matt excels in his training, particularly showcasing an adept skill in golf, where he can calculate real estate valuations with the finesse of a promising entrepreneur. As part of their strategy, Joe arranges for Matt to meet the owner of the bank building at a golf club. The conversation unfolds smoothly, and Matt is presented with an opportunity to purchase the building, setting the stage for further negotiations.
However, Matt, lacking experience in such matters, feels uncertain about how to proceed. Assuring Matt, steps in to provide guidance.
Before the negotiation, Bernard meticulously helps Matt prepare for every aspect. They begin by counting the number of lights in the building after dark, assessing its vacancy rate, and estimating its value based on annual revenue and operating costs. Bernard ensures that Matt memorizes these crucial numbers, arming him with the knowledge necessary for a successful negotiation with the building owner. As the negotiation unfolds, Matt skillfully navigates the big boss's bluffs about the property. No matter the attempt to deceive, Matt consistently provides precise and accurate numbers, leaving the big boss and his accountant astonished. The perception of encountering a mathematical genius lingers among. In the end, Bernard successfully secures the building, originally priced at over $2.4 million, for a mere $1.56 million. This triumph not only shocks the big boss, but also establishes Bernard as a force to be reckoned with in the real estate arena. Presidents of every bank within it extend their hands in a gesture of respect. Even the once difficult manager, taken aback by the support Bernard receives from the banking industry, finds himself surprised. With the backing of the banking industry, Bernard and Joe's real estate ventures flourish, rapidly expanding their careers. Breaking the rigid zoning of Los Angeles's black and white segregation, they paved the way for many promising black individuals to move into white neighborhoods. Their efforts earned them recognition from the vice president.
Several years later, in 1963, Bernard returns to Texas to visit his father, Britton.
Over dinner, Britton expresses pride in Bernard's remarkable accomplishments. The next day, Bernard takes a stroll through town with his son, and as they wander, they find themselves standing in front of the bank where Bernard once worked as a shoeshine boy. The juxtaposition of his past and present reflects the incredible journey of overcoming discrimination and achieving success in the face of adversity. In the deeply entrenched racist climate of 1960s, Texas, Bernard and his son encounter a young shoeshiner, reminiscent of Bernard's own childhood. To Bernard's astonishment, the young boy exclusively serves white customers, a stark reminder of the prevailing racial biases. This poignant incident stirs something within Bernard, triggering a profound sense of responsibility toward his community. The following day, he approaches Joe with a bold proposal to purchase the Mainland Bank in Texas. Initially dismissing the idea as impractical, given the severe racism in Texas, Joe is eventually swayed by Bernard's compelling reasons for undertaking such a venture. Recruiting Matt once again as their frontman, Bernard and Joe arrange a meeting with the bank owner, Robert Florence Sr. and Jr., to discuss the potential deal. Despite suspicions from Florence Jr., Sr. decides to sell the bank to Matt and his partners. With the acquisition of Mainland Bank, Bernard takes immediate action, striving to assist African Americans in the town in securing loans. His objective extends beyond merely providing fair housing opportunities. Bernard aims to empower his fellow community members, offering them a chance at financial prosperity. As their successful venture faces a sudden threat, Florence Jr. begins scrutinizing the loans approved by the bank. One day, Florence tracks down Matt and confronts Bernard and Joe, presenting a letter from the U.S.
Treasury Department.
He warns them of an impending inspection within a month, escalating the tension. In response to this looming challenge, the trio discusses their options. During this critical period, Matt proposes a strategic solution, buying another bank and transferring the problematic loans from Mainland to the new institution. The Bank of Marlin Moore emerges as a potential acquisition, but Bernard voices concerns about overseeing its operations.
In a surprising twist, Matt volunteers to manage the new bank.
Although Bernard is initially uncomfortable with the idea, he eventually concedes, deciding to let Eunice keep a watchful eye on Matt.
With this agreement, Matt gains the opportunity to run the new bank according to his aspirations.
The following day, Matt engages a lawyer and initiates the signing of loan contracts on his signal.
As time passes, Florence Jr. contacts Matt, inquiring about clients who wish to withdraw all their money from Mainland, when a federal bank examiner arrives at the Bank of Marlin to assist Matt.
In a desperate attempt to stay informed, Bernard disguises himself as a janitor to attend the crucial meeting. Despite his efforts, the examiner identifies critical issues with several loans, leaving Bernard in disbelief at the approval of such absurd financial arrangements. In a shocking revelation, they discover that Florence Jr. orchestrated the problematic loans. Matt, in his eagerness to run his bank, had skipped protocols and utilized a lawyer recommended by Florence, unwittingly, allowing the problematic loans to slip through. Realizing the severity of the situation, Bernard and Joe advise Matt to consider walking away from the Bank of Marlin for the sake of their collective interests. Unbeknownst to them, Matt takes matters into his own hands without informing his partners. The following day, Joe learns of Matt's unilateral move and rushes with Bernard to Mainland Bank to confront him about the loans. Florence observes the unfolding drama with a sense of pride. Bernard insists that Matt retrieve the books, but it proves too late. Federal bank examiners arrive, prepared to revoke Mainland Bank's operating license. As they leave the building, the FBI arrests Bernard and Joe. Despite Bernard's attempt to stand his ground, the struggle proves futile. In the aftermath, Bernard and Joe meet with their lawyer to navigate the legal repercussions of the unraveling situation. As their legal case becomes entangled with racial politics in the country, Matt engages with Senator McClellan to explore a way out. In a calculated move, Matt contemplates testifying against Bernard and Joe in exchange for his freedom. Following a late-night phone call, Matt decides to follow McClellan's suggestions and provides testimony against his partners at the Senate hearing the next day. The senator proposes an immunity deal: confirm Matt's testimonies or face imprisonment for Bernard. In a pivotal decision, Bernard chooses to speak the words that have lingered in his heart for years, addressing the issue of racial discrimination in the country. Following the hearing, both Bernard and Joe's fortunes plummet, and they receive federal prison sentences. Florence Jr. seizes the opportunity to purchase Mainland Bank for a fraction of the price paid by Bernard and Joe. Meanwhile, Matt Steiner remains untouched by criminal charges.
Several years later, Bernard and Joe are released from prison.
Eunice, finding it peculiar that the two men appear content despite the loss of their fortune, is left to grapple with the complexity of their emotions and the enduring impact of their tumultuous journey. Contrary to appearances, the truth unfolds as Joe reveals a surprising turn of events. It turns out that Bernard and Joe have neighboring properties in the Bahamas. Clear that the night before Matt's testimony, he had called Bernard, not Senator McClellan. In a surprising twist, Matt had informed Bernard about the senator's deal and offered his sincere apology. In return, Bernard had asked Matt for a favor, securing their assets before the government could seize them. The movie concludes with the revelation that Bernard and Joe's residential properties in the Bahamas played a pivotal role in the fight against housing segregation in Los Angeles. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our next recaps on this channel. Until next time, happy watching.